Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and safe at home. And I believe that you are learning chemical bonding and molecular structures chapter. In the previous class, we have discussed that types of hybridization. Right? We learnt sp hybridization, sp2 hybridization, sp3 hybridization, sp3 dehybridization, and lastly sp3 d2 hybridization. And you are aware and familiar with the examples of this hybridization, their geometry, and their bond angles, right? And if I ask questions, and surely you will answer it, right? Yes. And also, we learned prediction of hybridization and shapes of molecule, right? If I give you some molecules, surely you will be able to answer or predict the type of hybridization and shapes of molecule, right? The next topic which we are going to learn is an important topic, that is molecular orbital theory. It was proposed by Hund and Mulliken in 1932 to explain the relative bond strength and magnetic property of molecules. Remember, both valence bond theory and molecular orbital theory based on quantum mechanical model of atom. In quantum mechanics, we consider both particle and wave nature of electron, right? So now we'll be learning salient features of MOT, that is molecular orbital theory. Point number 1. The electrons of molecules are present in molecular orbitals as electrons of atom are present in atomic orbitals. Remember, it is a comparison between atomic orbital and the molecular orbital. Okay, right. So just as electrons are present in atomic orbital, electrons are also present in molecular orbital, right? Next, the atomic orbitals of comparable energies and proper symmetry combine to form molecular orbitals. For the combination of atomic orbitals, so they must have comparable energies and proper orientation or symmetries, right? Electrons in an atom is influenced by one nucleus in an atomic orbital, whereas in molecular orbital the electrons are influenced by two or more nuclei, right? So atomic orbital is monocentric, whereas molecular orbital is polycentric. Now, number of molecular orbitals formed are equal to number of atomic orbitals combined, right? When two atomic orbitals combine, two molecular orbitals are formed. These are named as bonding molecular orbital. They are represented as sigma, pi, delta, etc. And antibonding molecular orbitals, these are represented as sigma star, pi star, delta star, etc. Right. When two atomic orbitals combine, two molecular orbitals will be formed. One is known as bonding molecular orbital, the other one is known as antibonding molecular orbital, right? Next, the bonding molecular orbital has lower energy and hence greater stability than corresponding antibonding molecular orbital. Next, just as probability of electron distribution around the nucleus in an atom is given by atomic orbital, probability of electron distribution around the nuclei in a molecule is given by molecular orbital, right? So atomic orbital represents three-dimensional arrangement of electrons around the nucleus. In the same way, in molecular orbitals, electron distributed around the nucleus of a molecule, right? Next, the filling of electron take place in atomic orbital by obeying Aufbau principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, And Hund's rule, in the same manner, the electrons are filled in molecular orbital also. That means molecular orbital obeys all these three rules of Bohr principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, and Hund's rule. I hope you are aware of it, right? Next, formation of molecular orbitals. Linear combination of atomic orbitals, LCAO method. Linear combination of atomic orbitals, right? How do a molecular orbital form, right? To understand this, let's consider two atoms A and B, right? So atom A has wave character, that is wave nature of electron. We represent a wave function as psi A, and atom B, the wave function is represented as psi B, right? So when these two atoms combine, there are two possibilities. Case 1, when these two atoms come closer and they combine, the waves of these two atoms can be added, that is known as constructive interference, right? So constructive interference of two waves, psi A and psi B, leading to bonding molecular orbital, that means addition of wave, right? So bonding molecular orbital formed by when the crust of one wave construct with the crust of other wave, resulting a large wave psi A plus psi B, it is known as bonding molecular orbital. Now, how is anti-bonding molecular orbital formed? That is sigma star. So when these two waves, when they combine, when they do destructive interference, that is psi A minus psi B, which will lead to anti-bonding molecular orbital. In bonding molecular orbital, the energy is less and more stable, whereas anti-bonding molecular orbital has more energy and less stability, right? So when these two waves are not in phase, that is crust overlapping with trough, so in this manner these two waves cancel out, the resulting waves become very small, psi A minus psi B, they cancel out, which leads to anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? So main difference between bonding and anti-bonding, waves, two waves match each other, resulting bonding molecular orbital. When two waves cancel out each other, resulting anti-bonding molecular orbital. Next, linear combination of atomic orbitals for hydrogen molecule, right? So now we will start with first element, hydrogen, and how hydrogen atoms combine to form hydrogen molecule, right? So from the slide you can understand this. Psi A and psi B represents wave function of two hydrogen atoms, right? When these two atomic orbitals combine, there are two possibility of two molecular orbitals. One is bonding, the other one is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bonding molecular orbital has less energy, so it comes down, right? Psi A plus psi B. Whereas anti-bonding molecular orbital has more energy, it goes up. So bonding is represented by sigma and anti-bonding is represented by sigma star. Next, conditions for the combination of atomic orbitals. So what are the necessary conditions? Right. Number one, the combining atomic orbital should have comparable energies. For example, 1s can combine with 1s, but it cannot combine with 2s because they are different in energies, right? Next, second point, the combining orbitals must have proper orientations, right? The arrangement of electron cloud should be in the same phase, right? If they are in different directions, there won't be any combination. For example, 2px cannot combine with 2py because they are in different directions, right? So 2px can combine with 2px, 2py can combine with 2py, right? So third condition, the extent of overlapping should be large, right? When the atomic orbitals combine, the overlapping should be very large, then it will lead to formation of molecule and the molecular orbitals. Next, types of molecular orbitals formed, right? 1s with 1s orbital. So when two orbital combine, two molecular orbital formed. So 1s with 1s. So s orbital overlapping lead to sigma bond. So there are two possible sigma bonds. Number one, sigma 1s, that is bonding molecular orbital, and sigma star 1s, that is anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? So when the crust and crust overlap leads to bonding, and crust and trough overlap leads to anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? Next, 2pz with 2pz. So in the previous class already we have discussed pz will make sigma bond, right? So here when 2pz combined with 2pz, it forms two molecular orbitals, sigma 2pz bonding molecular orbital and sigma star 2pz anti-bonding molecular orbital. So here again the condition, crust should overlap with crust and leads to bonding molecular orbital. When crust overlap with trough, anti-bonding molecular orbital. You can view it from the slide, right? Next, in the previous class also we learned formation of pi bond, right? So pi bonds are formed by sideways overlapping of 2px with 2px and 2py with 2py, right? So they form pi 2px bonding molecular orbital and pi star 2px anti-bonding molecular orbital. In the same way, 2py also makes bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? Next, another important thing of this theory is drawing energy level diagram and writing molecular orbital electronic configuration, right? So this more important concept under this theory, right? First, for hydrogen molecule, right, there are two hydrogen atom with 1s1 and the other hydrogen atom 1s1. Now these two atomic orbital combine, leading to sigma 1s, sigma star 1s. Now we have two electrons here, right? 1s1, 1s1, totally two electrons. So in the ground state, the lower energy orbital must be filled first, then it goes to the higher energy orbital. So sigma 1s is a lower energy orbital, so it get filled, two electrons. What about sigma star 1s? It is empty, it has no electron, right? So now molecular electronic configuration for H2 molecule is sigma 1s2, then sigma star 1s, that is empty, right? Next, bond order. Definition of bond order, it is the one half of difference between number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital and number of electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bond order equal to 1 by 2 into Nb minus Na. Greater the bond order of molecule, greater the stability of molecule or ion, right? So this theory also predicts magnetic property of molecule, such as diamagnetic substance and paramagnetic substance. So it is identified if a molecule has completely paired electrons in the molecular orbital, it is said to be diamagnetic substance. If a molecule has one or more unpaired electrons in the molecular orbitals, then it is said to be paramagnetic, right? We will be seeing with the examples how to calculate bond order and magnetic property, right? Now once again let's take hydrogen molecule. Let's calculate bond order, right? Bond order equal to 1 by 2 Nb minus Na. So here number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital, that is sigma 1s, is 2, whereas anti-bonding molecular orbital 0. So now when we solve it, we get answer 1. So that means hydrogen molecule has bond order 1, it means single bond. Now what about magnetic property? So look at the bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital. In bonding, two electrons are, it is completely paired. So that means the substance is diamagnetic substance, right? Next, for helium molecule, For helium molecule, for atomic orbital electronic configuration is 1s2. Now two helium atoms combine, 1s2 combining with 1s2. Total number of electrons are 4. So it forms bonding and anti-bonding. So sigma 1s2 and sigma star 1s2. Right. So now calculate bond order. 1 by 2 into 2 minus 2, because bonding electrons 2, anti-bonding electrons 2. So here the answer is 0. So that means bond order in helium molecule is 0. So that means helium molecule cannot exist because of bond order is 0. What about magnetic property? Bonding and antibonding both have completely paired electrons. So it is an example of diamagnetic substance. Next, for lithium molecule, lithium, right? For lithium molecule, it is 1s2, 2s1, right? 1s2, 2s1. So for molecule, total number of electrons 6, right? 3 plus 3, 6. So 1s2 will form sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2. Now 2s1, it has only one electron in the 2s1, so it will form sigma 2s2, but sigma star 2s will be empty, right? So now number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital, right? So 4 electrons are there. In antibonding 2 electrons are there. So 4 minus 2, 1. So now lithium molecule can have bond order 1. What about magnetic property? So again bonding and antibonding both have completely paired electrons. It is an example of diamagnetic substance, right? Now nitrogen molecule, okay. So nitrogen molecule has nitrogen atom has 7 electrons, right? Atomic number 7 electron. So 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. So here we are getting 2p orbitals, right? So when 2p orbitals are there, we know 2pz will form sigma bond, which has more energy, and 2px, 2py will form pi bond, which has lesser energy than 2pz orbitals, right? So you can view it in the slide how to draw energy level diagram for nitrogen molecule, right? So 1s with 1s will form sigma 1s, sigma star 1s. 2s with 2s will form sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, right? When 2p orbital comes, okay, so 2px and 2py both will form pi bonds. So pi 2px, pi 2py, these are equal energy orbitals, right? They will have lower energy than sigma 2pz orbitals, right? Then what about antibonding molecular orbitals? They have higher energy. It should be written above, right? From the slide you can see how it has been written, right? Pi star 2px, then pi star 2py, then again in higher energy sigma star 2pz, right? So when we fill the electrons, totally we have 14 electrons. So sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, then pi 2px2, pi 2py2, then sigma 2pz2, right? So totally 14 electrons. Now calculate bond order. Bonding electrons are 10 and anti-bonding electrons are 4. So answer 3. So nitrogen molecule has triple bond. The magnetic property of substance is diamagnetic, right? Now molecular orbital energy level diagram for oxygen, fluorine, neon molecules. So it is just like nitrogen molecule only, but it has slight change, okay, but it has slight change. So what is that change? 1s 2s both will have the same configuration, but when we come to 2px 2py, there is a change, right? So here sigma 2pz will have lesser energy than pi 2px and pi 2py. That's the difference. Okay, sigma 2pz will have lesser energy than pi 2px and pi 2py. Okay, this is experimentally proved only for oxygen fluorine molecules, right? Now for O2 molecules, right? So you can view it in the slide. For oxygen molecule, 1s 2s remains the same. Now come to 2p orbitals. So in 2p orbital, look at the bonding molecular orbital, sigma 2pz should come down, right? Because it has lower energy in oxygen and fluorine and neon molecules, right? So when we fill up bonding and antibonding molecular orbitals, in oxygen molecule, there are two unpaired electrons in the antibonding molecular orbital of 5 star 2px and 5 star 2py, right? So please practice this, how to draw this energy level diagram. Now molecular orbital electronic configuration of oxygen: sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, sigma 2pz2, then pi 2px2 equal to pi 2py2, then pi star 2px1 equal to pi star 2py1, right? Now bond order 1 by 2 into 10 minus 6, so answer is 2. It means oxygen molecule has double bond. This substance is a paramagnetic substance because it has two unpaired electrons in the antibonding molecular orbitals of pi star 2px1 and pi star 2py1, right? So here I have given the molecular orbital electronic configuration of molecules like boron, carbon, nitrogen, and the molecular electronic configuration for oxygen, fluorine, and neon. Both are same, but only the slight difference in oxygen molecule, the sigma 2pz has lower energy than the pi 2px and pi 2py. That's the slight difference, rest everything is the same. Next, practice questions. Draw the molecular orbital energy level diagram of carbon molecule, calculate its bond order and predict its magnetic property, right? Can you draw it? So please practice using view the slide and you can try, or you can refer your textbook, right? Next, writing molecular orbital electronic configuration, compare the relative stability of following species, right? So first you should know how to write down the electronic configuration, as already I have given some examples. Then calculate bond order, right? So we know the important point that greater the bond order, greater the stability of molecular ion, right? So in this way you calculate bond order and compare their bond order and you can predict the relative stability of these molecules, right? Then last question, you can easily calculate bond order of these molecules, right? And here I have solved for you, you can practice like this. Next, last topic of this chapter is hydrogen bonding, right? Hydrogen bonding is nothing but it's a type of dipole interaction, but it is especially particularly found in a molecule in which hydrogen is bonded to most electronegative atoms such as fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen, right? Now definition: hydrogen bond can be defined as the attractive force which binds hydrogen atom of one molecule with the electronegative atom of another molecule, right? So example, let's take hydrogen fluoride HF, right? So based on electronegativity difference, hydrogen is positive, partially positive, fluorine is partially negative. It is known as dipole, right? So now one molecule attracts the other molecule because of oppositely charges, right? So this type of attraction is known as hydrogen bond, right? So once again I remind you, listen, if a molecule has hydrogen bonding with fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, will have intermolecular force of attraction, that is known as hydrogen bonding, right? So hydrogen bond has strong influence in the properties of compounds such as physical state. H2O is a liquid whereas H2S is a gas because of hydrogen bonding. Boiling point. Hydrogen fluoride has higher boiling point than hydrogen chloride, hydrogen bromide and hydrogen iodide because of existence of hydrogen bonding in hydrogen fluoride. Next, solubility. So covalent compounds such as alcohol, sugar, sucrose, glucose, they dissolve in water by making hydrogen bonds. Next, types of hydrogen bonding. There are two types of hydrogen bonding: intermolecular hydrogen bonding and intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Inter means between two, intra means within the same, right? So now first we'll see intermolecular hydrogen bonding. It's the hydrogen bond which take place between different molecule of the same or different compound. So this type of hydrogen bonding is stronger than intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay. So between two molecule is known as intermolecular hydrogen bond. Now what about intramolecular hydrogen bonding? It is the hydrogen bond which take place within the same molecule itself, right? For example, 2-nitrophenol. So in 2-nitrophenol, benzene ring has OH group and the next position nitro group. Okay. So the OH of hydrogen makes an interaction with oxygen of the nitro group. So within the same molecule, a hydrogen bond is formed. It is known as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, the concept of hydrogen bonding is very important. This will be repeated in most of the organic chapters, right? And even in inorganic chemistry also, the hydrogen bonding concept is there again and again. So please remember, the another important thing, we drink water, right? Because water is in liquid state only because of hydrogen bonding, right? So we should remember this hydrogen bond. Right. So I request all of you, please revise, right, and go through all the PPTs we are posting. Then work out in-text and exercise questions. Earlier I have mentioned that this is the only chapter without any formulas and numericals. Okay. So easily you can understand, easily you can score good marks. And also I have told you earlier that this chapter has more questions in your NEET and JEE main examinations, right? All the best. Thank you so much.